she is. Yeah, she's hurt. She took a hard fall off there. Boy, gosh, I hope she's okay.
I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
And here we go. It's another edition of the Daily Puck Drop. It is your daily sports podcast inside the Limback Lumber Studios. Contractors, they got free deliveries, everything from whole house packages to homeowner DIY projects. They got the largest stock moldings in the Northwest. Old school service because they've been doing it since 1930. Give them a call at Limback Lumber, 206-782-3487. Visit them online at limbacklumber.com. If you go in there wearing a Husky shirt, they'll probably take some money off for you. Say hi to Paul and the crew. All right, but give them a go, Cougs. That's just for Matt. Follow me on social media, PuckSports on X, Instagram, and Blue Sky, Puck_sports there on TikTok. And, of course, you can find everything up at PuckSports.com, all of our videos and our audio links to all the different podcast platforms. And you can sign up there to become a Pucks Posse member. You support everything that we do here at Puck Sports and the Daily Puck Drop. Plus, we give you bonus shows every single week. Our latest sports pit, by the way, with myself, Steve Sandmeyer, Matt Stretch Johnson, is out. A full-on Mariners playoff preview, and it is out right now for Pucks Posse members. All right, joining us, as he does Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, ladies and gentlemen, a world-renowned broadcaster and journalist. It is the go-to guy, Jim Moore from the Moore Shed. Brought to you by...
Hey, Puck, I'm brought to you by... My fingers are crossed because I've had some technical difficulties here in Bend, Oregon, but my thanks go to... Brian Turner from A Clean Streak up in Oak Harbor. You know all about his cleaning service. He'll clean your roof, your gutter, you name it. Pressure washing, window washing. Brian Turner, give him a call or visit A Clean Streak at acleanstreak.com. My thanks too to Matt Baker from the Angry Beaver in Greenwood, the tavern you want to go to. You got to be there this weekend. There's all kinds of action at the Angry Beaver. Husky game at 12:30. You got the Mariners at 5 o'clock. You got the Seahawks the next day, the Mariners the next day. The Angry Beaver is the place for you. Ask Matt for a fireball shot, okay? He'll give it to you. I know this from experience. So Matt Baker at the Angry Beaver in Greenwood. And I also want to thank Brad Brotherton from BrothertonAuto.com, Brotherton Cadillac and Brotherton Buick MC, and Brotherton Cadillac in Renton. Shoreline or Renton, you can't go wrong with Brotherton, all right? He's a Coug. He's a fourth-generation auto dealer, and you can get a car from him. He's a great guy. And check out the vanilla latte on the coffee machine in the waiting room there in Renton, all right? BrothertonAuto.com.
And the best thing about a Cadillac from Brotherton Cadillac, better Wi-Fi inside one of the Cadillacs than Jim has at his home in Bend, Oregon. Also on Fridays, he joins us, Mr. Sunshine. Ladies and gentlemen, your favorite sports broadcaster on your local news. Crowd surfing on Fridays, covering the Mariners on Saturday and the Seahawks on Sunday. It is Chris Egan from King 5. For those listening, just holding up a poster that says, "Seize the moment." Hello, Chris.
Jason, Jim, hello to you. I want to thank my sponsor, Mel Egan Real Estate. She allows me to spend a half hour every Friday, considering I don't get paid to do this. So Mel's out making money for the Egan family. So thank you, Mel Egan Realtors, for sponsoring your husband to do this for every. And I do need to mow the lawn after this is over and then get to work. But thank you, Mel Egan. And I also want to thank all the proud sponsors out there, egannew.com. Go back to spring training. Pretty much every member of the media in Seattle was bashing Jerry Dipoto, was bashing John Stanton. There was one member of the media that did not. Right here. I believed early. I knew early. I had a feeling early that this team was going to win the American League West. Rewind the tape, everybody. Rewind the tape. Yeah. Look on King 5. Go to PuckSports.com. Check out your other local media members that were just bashing this team that are now all of a sudden on the bandwagon. Yours truly was never not. That's egannew.com for all the latest of spring training reports. There you go.
Hey, Chris.
Go. Yeah.
Chris, that's great that you said that, but you say that every year before the season starts. So you were bound to be right at some point.
Jim, that's why I love you. And yes, you are correct.
And also, I could find a clip of you from about a month and a half ago where you went on a tirade against them.
I think I needed to fire them up a little bit, Puck, at that point. They listen to this podcast, before every game. So,
all right, Jim, here we go. We're set. 5:38. What? It can't be 5:30. It's got to be 5:38. Chris, do you understand that in the television world? Why is it 5:38 and not just 5:30 for the start time tomorrow?
It makes absolutely zero sense to me. I mean, we really don't live in a world of ratings anymore. It's just who's paying to be on there. I don't get it, but I'd love to start with Jim and just begin with this question. And obviously, it's happening right now, Jim, around us. But I tell you, I haven't felt energy like this probably since that Seahawks Super Bowl run when they faced off against the Broncos. And when I say that, it's just like you go around everywhere. What are people talking about in the grocery stores, in the bars and the restaurants? It's Mariners fever. I dropped my kid off at junior high today, and I've never seen so many junior high kids wearing Mariners jerseys to junior. I mean, it's a buzz. It is absolutely crazy. And you got a Seahawks team that's playing the Buccaneers, which is a good game. You got the Timbers Sounders, but it's all about seizing the moment right now. It's crazy.
Well, no, that seize the moment thing, and I think it's cool that they put it out, that sign up there outside of T-Mobile Park where 11 games, and they're going to mark it down every game that they win. That's what you need to win the whole thing. And so I think the excitement level is where it is, and justifiably so, because this is a year when usually you go into a season, you're thinking, God, I hope they do it this year. Maybe they'll do it. There's all these kind of attachments you have, all these words that you kind of go, well, maybe they could if this happened or that happened, if they get some breaks. No, they're skilled enough. They're good enough this year. And when you look at the competition, even Vegas likes the Mariners this year. So they're the favorites to make it to the World Series. I think they're just second only to the Phillies to win the whole thing. So I think that's generating a lot more excitement than usual when you go into it this year thinking, okay, this could be the year and this should be the year, not could be the year.
Yeah. And I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Chris. No, go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, I 100% agree with you, Jim. And then yet I have a buddy from Cleveland that's a reporter there that texts me like, you guys are going to sweep the Tigers. They have no hitting. And then, people are telling me, oh, we faced Scooble twice, and we did well against them. But here's where I get nervous. The postseason is a different animal. And you're going to see a Tarek Scooble throwing in the hundreds, and he's going to go 8 innings. And I mean, there's a good chance the Mariners face him twice, game 2 and possibly game 4 or game 5, depending what's on the line in game 4. And that young man that went to Seattle U, that played for the Kitsap Blue Jackets, now the Port Angeles Lefties, scares the heck out of me.
The Port Angeles what?
Well, they're now the Port Angeles Lefties of the West Coast League, but when Scooble played, I believe they were the Kitsap Blue Jackets, a summer league team. And for all you parents listening out there that are concerned about your kids and how they're doing in high school and college, he was 0-4, I believe, or 0-1, but never won a game with the Kitsap Blue Jackets, and struggled health-wise his first 2 seasons with Seattle U. Third season with Seattle U did very good, and obviously Scooble now is just scary good. So, fans are going to see that firsthand on Sunday. So it's going to be interesting.
Well, it's just, I mean, I know what they did in the regular season against them, but it's the regular season and the first start was what? The first start of the season or second start of the season? So
second start, I think, yeah.
I mean, I don't care what the numbers were in the regular season. This is to piggyback off your point. It's completely different. He's an absolute bulldog. And again, they've had success against these top pitchers this year, but you don't want to face them twice. Now you just have to get through. Can you manage whatever game 1's going to be tomorrow? The word out of Detroit is that it's going to be a bullpen game. You're going to throw a bunch of different arms. AJ Hinch is a good manager. He's been here before. He knows what this is like. He has that edge over Dan Wilson. And so how will he manipulate tomorrow's game? Then you get Scooble. Then what happens there in game 3 once they go on the road? I mean, we haven't got to it yet. I mean, what tempers me a little bit or just sours me a tad is this Bryan Woo news.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys watch that. You can read it and then watch his body language.
No,
his
I'm with
body
you,
language in that interview which I think was recorded by Daniel Kramer of MLB.com, is not good. That is not good. And when he says, I hope next week, I mean, I don't think he said maybe next week.
Yeah, that should concern all Mariner fans there. And what does that do then? It takes you were looking at 3 days ago, Bryce Miller being a possible bullpen pitcher, but now you put him into your starting rotation. And, Miller's been a little bit, not your solid starter that you want in a playoff game. I'll say that.
No.
I've been very happy with The Rock and what he's been doing, and Gilbert, and Kirby's been up and down. But yeah, Puck, I'm with you. I saw that interview yesterday, and it concerned me a little bit. Maybe next week, that makes me think, like, is he playing? Is it a poker face he's throwing on? Is he trying to throw off the rest of baseball with that? I don't know. That's another thing too. Puck.
Is he pulling a Jimmy Rogers? Not going to announce the starting quarterback?
No, I don't think so. I agree with you guys. I saw the body language. I saw everything in that interview, and I didn't like what I saw or heard. And it sounds to me like we went into this thinking, okay, well, Woo should be good for game 3. And we were thinking, all right, that'll be fine. They'll go with Kirby and Castillo in the first 2 games at home. Woo is great on the road. He's great anywhere. So that'll be perfect for him to slot in there. And now you go from thinking that to going, oh, wait a minute. Okay, he's probably not going to pitch at all in this first series. And then if they make the next series, it sounds even problematic for the next series. I mean, what are you going to expect from Bryan Woo? He sounds like he's still a couple of weeks away, even though he said a week away. These words of hoping and not expecting to come back. I was just surprised yesterday by that. It's unfortunate for sure.
Well, I will go back to, I remember talking to Bill Kruger, Old School Baseball podcast, by the way. Someone did say in the chat real quick, Chris, you do have a lot of ice in that drink.
I like ice. I'm going to be honest with you. If you're ever a barista serving me a drink,
That's
I like ice. Don't get conservative on the ice. I like
that's
ice.
a lot of ice. But Bill said, hey, it's problematic that when a pitcher abruptly leaves a game like that, when they throw a pitch and then they're out, and I know people were kind of, his point was people are kind of tampering, him after the game, how they all reacted, right? How Woo reacted. Because remember, I think he talked to people after that, and usually you wouldn't do that. And Dan Wilson kind of was, it didn't seem all that serious coming from them. And Bill was the only one that I remember saying, yeah, that's not good. I've been there before. I know what that's like. And when you leave like that, that generally is not good. And it's bearing it out right now. Well, I mean, if the best case would be next week would be game 5, by the way.
And Puck, to the Mariners' defense right now, the playoffs, it's all about momentum physically and mentally. And, this is a franchise. I mean, it's just an avalanche coming down Mount Rainier right now of Mariner mojo. And this is finally a little bit of a hiccup in this momentum that you're not arguably your best starter this year may not be available throughout the entire playoffs. And I think that is just, it's very concerning. I mean, it's very concerning right now.
Well, Puck, you mentioned game 5, that Bryan Woo would go out there for the game 5 start, perhaps. Would you feel confident in him doing that? I don't know if I'd want to give him the ball in a game 5 at this point. As much as we love him and know how consistent he's been and how great he's been, a Cy Young Award candidate all season long, I wouldn't give him the ball for game 5. I would probably slot him in game 3 in the ALCS if they make it that far.
Yeah, I was thinking, Jim, game 1 of ALCS up in Toronto or home against New York. But
I mean,
I'd be nervous too.
It's a valid point, Jim, just because that would be 3 weeks. 3 weeks where he hadn't pitched, and that would be his. I mean, maybe you go with him and you just say, let's see if we can get a couple innings out of you. Maybe you would save him. Well, I think he's earned the right. I would say this. He's earned the right. If he is healthy, he's earned the right to pitch in the game. Definitely. Because he's been consistently their absolute best pitcher. I just think you have to monitor it, though, and you go, all right, if he doesn't have it, then we get him out early. They'll do that with whoever it is. But,
I think, the one thing I think we can all agree on is that, and everybody's saying this, it's not anything, groundbreaking that I'm about to bring up, but they have to win game 1. they absolutely have to win game one.
Oh, for
because
sure.
if they don't win game one, you go into a second game against Scooball, then you're looking at maybe 0-2 and then going to Detroit. So, they're probably going to be disappointed then. So, yeah, so we'll see how it goes tomorrow. But I fully expect them to win tomorrow. And but God, you can't help the old Mariner pass coming out, though, can you? I mean, because you sit there and we know, like Puck, you can mention all these guys. They beat Skeens, they beat Scooball twice. All these great pitchers, these aces. They've also lost to the number 5 schlep guy, from whoever. It's you don't know. Like you look at it tomorrow, they'll probably be 2-1 favorites to win this game, especially with the Tigers going with the opener and trying to get through the game with 5 relievers. Well, they could go have a game where they get 3 hits and get shut out.
Well, we saw it. Hold on, but Egan, you saw it in the Rocky series.
Yeah,
you had those guys were terrible.
Yes,
I mean,
were.
The guys had ERAs at 9, and they're getting shut out for 5 or 6 innings. So this stuff happens all the time in baseball.
Oh yeah,
absolutely all the time.
These are pitchers that are coming in, and this is their chance on the spotlight. Many of them may be free agents next year. So what would be better than to throw, 3 scoreless innings? What's going to be interesting to me, guys, I've talked to a couple kids that pitch over the last couple of days and pitch at a high level, major leaguers, and they say it's going to be interesting on Sunday. And Scooball is a bulldog, and he's pitched in every circumstance. But you have it's going to be like 50% Seahawks football fans in there and Mariner fans, and it's going to be probably louder than that place has ever been. And they were telling me, interesting, the pitch comm is a real deal. When you're on the road and stadiums are rocking, it actually becomes an issue. It's a little different when you got 13, 15,000 during a regular season, but when you got 45 plus just going bananas, and that's for all the Mariners fans going to these games, when the other team is pitching, that is when you want to be as loud as you can because they're listening to the pitches in their pitch comm with the catchers and stuff like that.
Jim will agree with this, Chris, but I know we can't stop it on Sunday at the Mariners game, but can we at least put a cap on how many times maybe someone wants to start the wave?
Yeah, we don't need the wave. That's not going to help the pitch comm. You just need to be loud. Just be loud.
I mean, 0 would be perfect, but maybe just twice we do it.
Well, they're going to do it once, and then the national broadcasters are going to, there's the debate where that started, Husky Stadium or the Kingdom, and let's take a shot at old Pike Place Market down there. Look at the salmon. Look at the salmon flying
I love
off.
when they show that. I don't know why everyone gets so upset about it.
There's more.
Do those guys ever drop it?
Oh, there's other things to see, Puckett. I mean,
it's fun. They like those guys. They catch the salmon. Yeah. It's great. It's fun.
How about downtown shot of Edmonds? Or let's head on one of the ferries over to Bainbridge Island. Show us something else.
Let's go down to the International District and let's see a guy overdosing. There's Billy. Yeah, what's he on?
Well, look, we don't need that. The rest of the media would take that. The East Coast would be like, I told you, Seattle.
You don't live in that shithole. It's going to be fun. This weekend it's amazing. I mean, you've got, for tomorrow, what time do the Sounders? What time?
7:30 Sounders, and it's the Portland Timbers, and the Portland Timbers usually pack that place. So I'm not joking that play, and I feel bad because usually like the Timbers Sounders is like one of the big stories of the week, but it's going to be packed. I mean, it's not going to be worse than Sunday, but maybe just in terms of how it aligns,
pretty close because the game times are closer.
Well, and here's the other thing: people don't even throw into the mix on Saturday. There's usually some type of concert going on down in the South End. South End, there's a showbox. Yeah, there's a little concert hall down there.
Usually a little EDM, some type of where girls are wearing nothing and black.
I see it every Saturday when I'm working at King 5. There's
sometimes you go over there and perform.
And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm thinking about starting up a side hustle. But who's just raking it in right now? These hot dog vendors. They're all over the place.
Did you guys do a story? I didn't see it. Did King 5 do a story? Are people upset about the hot dog vendors? Because I noticed the last game I was at, there's a couple of they seem like some free spirited hot dog vendors. They're just like this family that just sets them up right in front of Occidental. They're not on the sidewalk. They're like right in the street.
Oh, they're right
very
there.
mobile and they're on the move. It seems like.
Yeah. And I am always fascinated, not to get too political, how people are concerned about what they put in their body, but anybody will just buy a hot dog randomly off the street from some random person.
What's wrong with
that?
Hey, Jim, I'm telling you, are you going to go to any of these games? I'll give you the best place to get a hot dog, the best deal. It is right before you get to Jimmy's. There's a spot that sells like a little outdoor bodega that sells like peanuts and Cracker Jacks and Red Vines and all that. Right next door to it is a food truck, and there's an old Asian lady in there. $6 hot dog.
That's a good
chips,
deal.
Hot dog, chips, and a water. $6.
The side closest, Jim, to King 5, they're over $10 a dog. They're wrapping them in bacon right now. You get the fried onions on there. I mean, it looks really good. I've tried to stay away from them as much as I can. But
are you a Seattle dog kind of guy, Egan?
I love hot dogs, especially at nighttime.
Yeah, but do you like the Seattle dog? Do you know what that is?
Cream cheese?
No, I'm more a hot dog. Just give me. I like onions, relish, little mustard, ketchup.
I'm a naked hot dog guy.
Just pure naked.
You eat the hot dog naked, or?
But the bun has to be kind of warm and soft, not moist, but kind of warm. So it's not just dry. But I don't like putting mustard, ketchup, anything on it.
Do you remember? Either you two remember?
That's weird.
It could have been the Tacoma Tigers before they were the Rainiers, and they had a big 6'6" hot dog guy, and he would give them to you naked, but then he had just a cup of mustard with just a wooden stick, and he'd just go into that cup of thing and just slap it on your dog and hand it to you. He was a legend down there at those Tigers games. I can't remember his name.
Speaking, we'll get back to the baseball. But now, since we're on food, I have it written down. Did you see what the Mariners have unveiled? They got new, Jim. They've got new food items. They're unveiling for the playoffs.
Yeah, what are we doing?
Caviar? Is that true?
This is disgusting.
What are we doing?
There is not a chance in hell I would go to a baseball game looking about who all works in these things and where the food hygiene of these spots and order crab legs and caviar in a baseball helmet.
Yeah.
Well, I think what they're trying to get at is to be talked about, and that's what's happening. Because we talk about the grasshoppers too, right?
Okay, but what if
nobody goes to the game wanting grasshoppers deep fried?
Okay, but they're not going to finish it, and someone's going to put it underneath their chair sitting out there, and that stank. Oh,
yeah, yeah. We had a relative.
Think about how much they're going to cost.
We had a relative bring crab legs to it was a summer barbecue. It sounds like a great idea. Everybody loves crab legs, but once it's been sitting in the weather for a while,
it's been sitting and marinating a little heat, yeah, it's gonna get a little dicey. Okay, just to stick with a hot dog and call it good. But yeah, so you got Sounders, Mariners, and then Sunday, we haven't even talked about the Seahawks. Like Seahawks are like back burner this weekend.
Yeah. And this is a great game. The Buccaneers are good.
Wonderful game.
You have the return of Emeka Egbuka, the former Steilacoom High star that was just sensational when he played for Stille. Got him, I think, into the state championship game. Went to Ohio State, and he's having a great rookie season right now for the Bucs. So yeah, I mean, this is a big game, and you got a Seahawks team that's just right there on the cusp, winning and staying tied for first place. So.
Well, yeah, you look at the NFC West in that game last night with the 49ers pulling it out with all the injuries they had. And so the Seahawks, if they win, they can tie for first place in the NFC West. It looks like it's the best division in football. I mean, top to bottom.
Yeah. Mac Jones was great. I mean, to win that game, they're undefeated in the division. They're undefeated in the conference. They've already beat you. Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a division. I'll go back to I know we're going all over the place to baseball, the football, and all of it. Food,
parking. I mean, I'm just telling everybody listening right now, somebody that has driven down Soto for the last 10 years and watched these parking spot prices. I'm just telling you, expect right now, if you're going to pay to park, it's going to be
200.
No,
100.
100, Jim. I'd say 110 to 80, and that's from the Starbucks headquarters down to the stadiums. You'll probably start in your 50s. By the time you get to Krispy Kreme, you'll be up in the 80s to 90s. So expect to pay like it's 115
God,
75
don't
bucks.
do it. God, can someone actually pay $100 to park a car?
You
Would you
do
do
every
that?
time when you go
I don't
down
care
there.
how rich I am, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, but he would rather get a parking fine.
Okay, the parking fine was $80.
And Jim, here's the other issue is
$20 more.
Here's the
What's
other
the
issue,
risk, Puck?
Jim.
I might not have gotten a ticket.
You park behind the Taco Bell or the KFC over there, and you may come back and somebody may be in your car.
Okay,
Park down at that Starbucks lot off at First. Just park down there and roll the dice. Roll the
just
dice
walk
and
in,
then go to Hooterville or Boomerville or whatever the hell.
Hooverville.
Come on.
Jim, you're talking.
That's a great bar. I don't know the name of it, but I love it.
That's the new King 5 bar, Jim, Hooverville. But yeah, you're going to be paying $100 by Hooverville.
Egan, get us in. Can you? You know what? Everyone knows this. That I'll give people a sneaky place to find free parking.
Okay.
It's
this
actually
is the lock of the week right here.
This is the lock. This is the parking lock of the week. If you get down there early, it's actually that little street. I don't even know what it's called. Right behind King 5,
Utah, I believe.
Yeah, between
is that Utah?
King 5. Is it between King 5 and then the next building?
Well,
that little alley street right there. Street park, sneaky good.
Sneaky good, yes. But here's the problem, and this is somebody once again that's seen this. It's a great advice, but Seahawks game on Sunday. Guess who rolls in usually on Saturday?
I know.
Seahawks tailgaters, and they're usually tailgating.
I can't wait till Seahawks fan comes over to the Mariners game.
And then you're gonna have a little mix. You're gonna have a little mix on Saturday. The Sounders fans score a goal, score a goal, score a goal.
Their scarves are too tight around their neck. It cuts off the oxygen. They don't know what's going on with the baseball game.
It's gonna be wild.
It is going to be nuts, man. It is, and I can't wait. Here's the way I look at it. Jim, you'll appreciate this. I can't wait to see how our city is going to fail in transportation. That's what I'm looking forward to this weekend.
What time are you going to go, Puck? I know you're going tomorrow.
I'm going on Sunday. So I probably will take the bus down. We generally take the bus, and I'll probably get off a little earlier than go all the way into downtown. I'll probably get off around, kind of Climate Pledge-ish, and then take a Lime scooter in. That's kind of the game plan.
Puck, let me go ahead and write the tag out for the news reporters that know nothing about the Mariners that are now involved in it, that will be reporting this weekend for King, Como, Q13, and Cairo. This will be their tag out.
Go ahead. You can name it.
And I'll pretend you two are the main anchors. And Jason and Jim, one final message. Make sure you not only pack your food and Cracker Jacks, but also pack your patience. Back to you.
You're going to need a lot of patience this weekend. Whatever you think is early to go like 2 hours before that.
Yep, I'm with you.
Yeah, I don't know. What time should we get down for 5 o'clock first pitch?
I'd say 3. You'll be fine. Well, there's still going to be some there. Here's what baffles me, guys. And I sit up there and I have the best view of T-Mobile Park, the exit, because Paul Sylvie and I have desks that look right down on it. And every weekend, I still don't understand this one. And I'd love for you two to break the code here on this one. It could be a 1-1 game in the 8th inning. And I will look down and there are people exiting. And I just, unless you're having a heart attack, unless there's a family member that is being rushed to the emergency room, I never understand it, but I see it every freaking weekend.
Because they want to beat the traffic.
I don't get it.
It's like the Progressive commercial where the family's walking into the stadium and the dad is already planning his exit. All right, well, we got to be up by third quarter. We got to get out of here, and we're going to go out that way. And he's already planning the exit strategy from the game.
Yeah, the only one that I looked down and nobody was exiting until it was over? Savannah Bananas.
Oh.
I literally, nobody was leaving that place.
Well, because they have a clock, don't they? They have a clock, and then when the clock runs out, that's it.
But come on, you're a Mariners fan when it's the ninth inning. That's usually the last inning. Now, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully nobody leaves any of these games this weekend.
Should they do? I know they can't. And this is not just a Mariners thing. This is for everyone. This is for every sports league and every sports team. Jim, you wrote about it, actually. And this is why I thought about it. It's supply and demand. I get it. Is there anything that these teams can do, though, to curb these prices for people? I mean, think about it. You've been going to games all year long, right, Chris? Yeah. As a family, you're taking your family, you're taking your kids. Yeah. And normally the tickets are anywhere from you sit in the bleachers, $10 to, you can go all the way up to, hundreds of dollars. But you can get in there relatively affordable for like $10 to $40 a ticket. And then they go to the postseason. I get it, and I understand. And then it's just like through the roof. Yeah. To where you want to take a family or some kids, and you're spending thousands of dollars now.
I don't know the whole thing on selling tickets, but I guess it would be the only thing I can think of is trying to eliminate those companies from buying tickets.
Yeah. The brokers, they get them with the bots.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, I looked at Vivid Seats the other day, one of the secondary, the scalpers, the legal scalpers, $260 to get in, and you don't get a seat. You don't get a seat. Gosh. It's standing room only in center field.
And that's for this series?
That's for game one.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, game one. To Puck's point, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's just like some of these concert performers, I get it. Like Taylor Swift, she's bigger than ever. But to like try and take your teenage daughter to go to that or to go to a Mariner game, I mean, you're talking tomorrow, you're putting out $1,000 for a family of four just to get in, if you can get in. And then that's not counting the $100 parking and the concessions.
I'm looking at
dots and everything else.
I'm looking at SeatGeek right now, and the cheapest ticket there is up in $344 at $208 a pop.
Wow.
Well, it's coming down a little then.
You want to sit behind Diamond Club's only $4,100.
$4,100 for Diamond Club. And that's my only boy. Yeah, I'm with you guys.
37. I again, this is not the Mariners. I'm just saying it's just it just gets very, very expensive for a lot of people.
Yet, you talk supply and demand, and they did a great job with the scrimmages and good crowds. But gosh, did you guys see the video in Philadelphia? Yeah.
Why'd they have to cap it at 5,000 in Seattle?
Yeah, the Mariners screwed up. They should have let as many people that they wanted to come in.
Cow.
The Phillies, 31,000 people into that thing.
That was amazing.
Jesus.
Yeah. That was a lot of fans in Philly.
Yeah, I don't know why the Mariners I'd like to know why they did cap it. I mean, they've never been an organization that doesn't like to make a buck, so why would they cap it?
Well, to be fair to the Mariners, Puck, they did the $10 that you gave went to the Mariners Care Foundation. So I don't think
fine, but why not 20,000 people with paying 10?
Let them all come in.
I don't. Maybe it was just honestly I don't know the answer to that. I was thinking maybe workers. You got to only allow one area that you're going to keep clean and sanitary. Sure. I don't know. Yeah. So they were busy coming up with the crab legs and helmets idea. So
crab legs and caviar. So I want someone to get it tomorrow. I want someone to get it tomorrow, and maybe I'll find somebody on Sunday to get it. Oh, no bueno. That is sitting on the crapper in the third inning and puking out your both ends.
Bad news. Scooble and Luis Castillo both working perfect games, and one fan there just like, God, this crab leg and caviar.
Have you had this yet? Great. Well, the Tigers scare me a little bit, Jimmy. Because it's one of those classic teams where they were just a free fall in the end of the regular season. They cough up the division. Then they come in that series against the Guardians, and they win it. They're playing with a lot of confidence. Their ace looks good. So it's, and that momentum flips like that. Meanwhile, this is where you're like, did you want the week off? You've had a couple scrimmages. You haven't had that live, right, Jim? That should worry the Mariners probably a little bit. They haven't had that live game experience yet.
Yeah, but I think if you had your druthers, which I think they do, I mean, you'd rather have the time off, especially to give Cal Raleigh a break. And yeah, I just think they're in a great situation, and then playing at home, you still should be able to handle the Tigers. The thing that you brought up, Puck, that I didn't put too much stock into, but I should have, is the manager situation. AJ Hinch, with being there before so many different times, knowing which knobs to turn and which ones not to, and I think that's a huge advantage they have. But we all love Dan Wilson. We do. We can't. He's kind of like the Dylan Moore of managers. We can't rip him because we remember him as a player and we always loved him. But he's going to be at a disadvantage in this series here against AJ Hinch and the Tigers.
And I agree. I would say, though, that this is the same AJ Hinch. And I agree with you that in game 2, for some reason, pitch hit for Riley Green is best hitter. Still
Riley Green should never be pinch hit for.
Why? That's what I'm saying. I think everyone was like, what are you doing? But the fact that he's been there, so he knows what it's like. That's going to be an advantage over Dan Wilson for sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, anytime you've been in a situation, you know what calls to make at the right time. And yeah, I mean, at some point, Dan Wilson had to manage his first playoff, and it's just happens to be this season. Rewinding just a hair with Jim, I'm 100% with you on that, Jim. I think time off in baseball is more important than momentum and carrying live baseball. I look back at the Toronto Blue Jays Houston Astros series. I look and I remember a Paul Sewald and Andres Munoz, a Matt Brash, not only Cal Raleigh. If you remember, guys, Cal Raleigh was also playing, I think, with a banged up thumb in those two series. But I remember they got to Houston and it just looked like Munoz, Brash, and Sewald were just like spent because they had been using them a lot. So now you come into this series, your big 4 out of the bullpen are all healthy. I mean, and I meant, Brash is healthy, Munoz is healthy, Gabe Spire is rested, Bizzardo is rested. So I love that those 4 are finally coming into a series where you haven't been using them day after day after day. So I think that's advantage Mariners there for sure.
And your weekend, I mean, it's just not for you. It's just not the Mariners tomorrow and the Sounders tomorrow and the Seahawks on Sunday. Jimbo, go-to guy, he is going to be on the broadcast tonight of one hell of a football game, a 4A Wesco powerhouse game between 2 undefeated teams, Egan.
Yeah, tonight I'll be up in Snohomish County area. I think there's a good Cougar restaurant up there in Snohomish that I may have to hit before we head over to the stadium. But we got undefeated Lake Stevens, a team that has knocked off Bellevue, a team that knocked off the defending 4A state champ Sumner to start this season. They'll be facing off against Glacier Peak, 4-0. So this is definitely the battle for the Wesco title tonight. Can't wait for this one. We'll have fun live shots at 5:40 and 6:40, and then live on King 5 Plus 7 o'clock tonight. And then tomorrow, this is another good, and I can't even be there. It's going to be undefeated Puyallup taking on the Sumner Spartans at Sparks Stadium, and they're expecting that place to be sold out tomorrow night. So there's just tons of stuff going on this weekend. But
if Jim and I want to do a 2-game parlay, who are the favorites?
I think Lake Stevens would be your favorite, and you may get it could be even odds on Sumner Puyallup. Okay. I'll tell you this: Puyallup looked very, very good against their rivals Emerald Ridge, but we'll see how they look against Sumner. Coach Ross always has that team ready to go. So
Coach Ross is Coach Ross a good money line coach?
Yeah, is he good in big games?
He's done very well in big games. Yeah, in fact, he made some big calls in the state championship game at Husky Stadium, and a lot of people headed back to Sumner. And by the way, Jim, you'll be happy. I got my American League West championship ticket that I got to mail to Caesar's Palace. Money coming back.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, how much did you win?
A lot, Puck. A lot. In fact, I want to announce this will be the last time I'll ever be doing this podcast because the wife and I are going to get away for a while.
Can a sports broadcaster bet on the team, or what are you inviting?
Who's your guest analyst tonight? You got a guest analyst?
We got Sean Wally tonight. So I want to get Puck and you back, but Sean Wally, a former intern at King 5 TV, just a good guy. So he's going to be up in the Snohomish area. So he'll be joining us tonight. So we're excited about that. And last week we had Mike Heward, the former legendary football coach, And not to throw a little kindling on the fire, I said, Mike, what do you think about Sumner Puyallup next week? He goes, well, Chris, when we played them, we called them Scumner. I'm like, okay, coach. Oh, boy.
I thoroughly enjoy that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I've never heard that.
That is good.
So, yeah.
Hey, Sean Wally, by the way, I want to throw out just something for Sean Wally. He's the one that hooked me up with the Ethernet here, so I have better internet. Thank you, Sean Wally.
Oh, well, shout out Sean. There you go.
Sean does it all, huh?
Wow. Engineer to the stars, broadcaster to the stars, Sean Wally. All right, Chris. For those who want to watch the game tonight, what time's the start? Where can they find it?
7:00, King 5 Plus, and then speaking of King 5 Plus, I'll be doing a pregame show tomorrow on King 5 Plus with the Mariners, and then I'll have all the highlights, post-game reaction. What does that say, Jim? I couldn't read it.
It said "Go Cougs."
Go Cougs. Yeah, we got the Cougs and Huskies this week, right? We
have a bye.
You got to buy. Well,
way to pay attention.
Good for you guys. So
we're going to next week. We upset number 4 Ole Miss on the road. Get ready.
That's going to be a battle.
I assume you guys are sending someone there to cover the game.
Yeah, I think I'll be. By the way, I'm fine. I just found out, guys. I think I'll be flying out to Detroit on Monday. So if you want me to join you on one of the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday shows from the Motor City, let me know. So
hold on. Can you give me a second? Can you have 1 second if I can find a great theme song for you when we talk about Detroit
I like
and
the
Cleveland?
Cubs. I like the Cubs
the
song
Cubs
yesterday.
one?
All the fans were singing it.
Well,
after the
I've
game.
got a better song when it comes to Detroit. You ready?
Yep.
Fun times in Cleveland again. Still Cleveland. Come on down to Cleveland town, everyone. Under construction since 1868. See our river that catches on fire. It's so polluted that all our fish have AIDS. We see the sun almost 3 times a year. This guy has at least 2 DUIs. The flats look like a Scooby-Doo ghost town. Don't slow down in East Cleveland or you'll die. Our economy's based on LeBron James. Buy a house for the price of a VCR. Our main export is crippling depression. We're so retarded that we think this is art. It could be worse though, at least we're not Detroit. We're not Detroit.
There it is. There is your Detroit Tigers theme song.
I
really
did
shitting
tell
on Cleveland, but just making the point that Detroit's such a shithole that it makes Cleveland look good.
Well, it's funny you say that because I went to some of the Mariners PR stuff. I said, which city, Detroit or Cleveland? And they kind of went,
No, Detroit was fun for the Super Bowl, wasn't it, Egan? Did you go back for that one?
I did not go back. I just remember it was very cold for everybody there.
Yeah.
But
all right, Egan, we'll say goodbye. Thank you.
Right.
Have a wonderful weekend.
All right, we'll be talking to you from the Motor City next. See you guys.
Okay. There he is, Chris Egan, King 5, joining us every single Friday. All right, how about let's get you caught up on some of the best bets you're going to make this weekend. We need professional help, Jim Moore, and we've got it in our handicapper, Troy Wins, from TroyWins.com. Hello, Troy. How are you on this Friday?
Doing good. I'm curious which bar Egan's going to be at tonight. That's in my neck of the woods, and I might have to check out that game. I'm seeing Lake Stevens minus 13.5 on the road, though. So I don't know. Do we take the home dog?
I think I would take Lake Stevens.
Yeah.
I think I would take Lake Stevens.
I was looking at Glacier Peak. They've got a defense. 4 games this year. They've given up, I think, a total of 5 points. So we'll see. The over-under set at 38.5. So
make it your lock of the week. I mean, that probably
I might.
That will go over well with the WIA and our relationship. So that'll be good.
Yeah. Should be a good game. Should be a great game tonight.
All right, let's get into the games. Of course, we'll start with college football first, then get into the NFL. I'll start first. Florida, Billy Napier and the crew taking on Texas, and the Gators getting 5.5.
This is going to be a fun football game. Everybody's down on the Gators. Everybody's down on Billy. So give me Billy and the Gators at home in the swamp. Arch Manning, the one time he was tested this year did not look very good. This is going to be a loud atmosphere. Give me the Gators. I'm not sure they win the game, but 27-24, I'll take 5.5 points here.
How about Alabama coming off their win over Georgia? They're minus 10.5 against Vanderbilt, which is ranked, I believe, number 16 in the country.
Yeah, Vanderbilt, boy, they can score points. But like I said it last week, I think Kalen DeBoer, believe it or not, has turned a corner with Alabama. He got the big win against Georgia. They lost this game last year and lost it pretty ugly. I think Alabama will be ready to go. This is a statement game for them at home. Tough road game for Vandy. Give me Alabama in a big way, 35-21. They take the cover.
All right, you're a Washington Huskies going on the road for a 12:30 kickoff there, Troy, taking on the Terrapins of Maryland, favored by 6.5.
I'll be honest, I was shocked that they were favored by this much, and that's actually probably why I'm going with them, because I was surprised to see a team that didn't win a road game last year, really got manhandled on the road last year. You're going up against an undefeated team, Malik Washington, good solid quarterback out of Maryland, and the Huskies are favored by 6.5. I was a little surprised by this. I'll take the Huskies 28-21. They get the cover barely.
Florida State and Miami used to be a huge game back in the day, and they both have good teams this year, though. You look at Florida State; they're hosting Miami in this one. They're getting 4.5. You like them as a home dog, Troy?
I do. I like them a lot. You know, Florida State, tough loss last week against Virginia. I truly felt like they were looking ahead to this game. We talk about that all the time. I think that's very real. They're at home. This place is going to be outstanding. I'm excited for this one. Gus Malzahn's done a phenomenal job as the OC. Give me Florida State. They pull the upset, 31-28. Give me the Seminoles.
All right, here in Seattle on Sunday, the Super Bowl matchup of uniforms, the Buccaneers and the Seahawks. Seahawks favored by 4.5. Which way you going, Troy?
I'm taking 4.5 points here. I don't like the fact that Bucky Irving's out. That guy, he accounts for almost 50% of this offense, and that's Baker Mayfield's guy, not just running the ball, but out of the backfield. But I think this is a close football game. I think the Tampa Bay Bucs, coming off that loss last week to the Eagles, they're going to be hungry. This is going to be a tough test for Seattle in the secondary. I think it's a close one. I think Seattle wins, but I'll take 4.5 points in this one, 31-28 Seahawks.
Okay. Let's get to the locks of the week. Lock of the week for you, Troy. This week, who do you got?
This will surprise a lot of people. I don't know how you can use lock and Carolina in the same sentence, but I'm going to find a way to do it. Give me the Carolina Panthers, plus 1.5 at home. They play well at home. A couple weeks ago, they took care of the Falcons 34-0 at home. They get Miami coming off a short week. They get Miami coming off the Tyreek Hill injury. Give me Carolina. This just does not suit well for Miami. Carolina wins that game at home. This is a much better Panther team than we're used to. They get the job done at home. 24-17. My lock of the week is the Carolina Panthers.
All right, go-to guy. You're undefeated 2-0. You had the Cougs last week against Colorado State. Which way you're going this week?
God, Troy, I hate doing this, but I'm going to go against the professional handicapper. I hate betting on teams with coaches on the hot seat, and it's also a bet with my heart. I want Florida to keep losing because I want Jed Fish to be the top candidate to go to Florida. So I'm going to take Texas, given the points in that one. And if you want to make a bet on that, I believe you owe me $25, Troy.
I do. Yeah, you need to text me that. I do.
Double or nothing. I'll take Texas, given the 5.5.
Done.
Okay, 5.5. I'm 2-1 thanks to the Buckeyes and covering last week against the Puppies. I'm going to go to the NFL, and I know Lamar Jackson. I don't know if they've even ruled him out yet. May not play. I don't know. They're getting 2.5 at home against the Texans. Yeah, give me Baltimore at home getting 2.5 against the Houston Texans.
Cooper Rush, let's go.
I believe in Baltimore. So I'm going to go with the Ravens plus 2.5 at home. Jim's going with the Longhorns minus 5.5 against Florida. And Troy's lock of the week, the Carolina Panthers plus 1.5 against the Miami Dolphins. All right, Troy, before you go, if people want gambling advice, where do they go?
You get to TroyWins.com or follow us on Instagram. It's Troy West. We cover absolutely everything, guys. All sports. It's $100 a month. That's 30 days of picks. It's not just me. We put a group of guys together, put our heads together, and put out quality picks each and every day. That's TroyWins.com. I truly believe it's a bargain, guys. So come take a look. TroyWins.com.
Thank you, Troy. Happy betting to you. And we'll see you next Friday.
Thanks, guys. Take care, Jim.
See you, Troy.
All right, there he is. TroyWins.com is the website. And again, going against Troy. You love just going against Troy. You really do.
I just
we went against them last week, so it was good.
Yeah, I like your pick of Baltimore, though, because I was always on Cooper Rush when he was starting for the Cowboys, and he seemed to be pretty good against the point spread.
Yeah, it's not bad. There's not, Cooper Rush not a bad quarterback. I don't know. The Ravens getting 2.5 at home.
No, I'm kind of with you on that,
good.
Puck, because everybody's down on them, and you look at them and you're going, okay, what are they, 1-3? They kind of have to win.
Yeah, they do.
And Houston's not that great.
Yeah, they're nothing to write home about. God, this weekend. This is a weekend probably for you because you don't like traffic. That you're happy they're not going to be here. But it's going to be a wild weekend of sports. It's going to be so much fun. So much fun to have all this happening all at once.
Wait a minute. Does anyone like traffic?
Well, maybe there's somebody out there that likes traffic. I think all these parking people like these who own all these the garages and the parking lots. They're going to enjoy this weekend, but it's going to be fun. Just to see, it's been a long time, and to get. I know they had one, a few years ago when Houston was here for what was that game 3, but just to be able to have multiple games here, especially on a weekend, and then it's prime time. I mean, it couldn't have worked out any better to have both games starting, at 5 o'clock and later. It's gonna be great.
Well, you know how sports talk guys like us blow things out of proportion, but is it blowing things out of proportion to say that this weekend could be the best in Seattle's run?
Yeah. Oh, no, I don't think it is.
Especially with, I mean, come on, the Mariners. This is the year, isn't it? I mean, this is the year where they finally break through.
It's their best chance. This is the best opportunity they've ever had. I think this is even better than 2001.
I do too. When you look at, I was looking at the 2001 team the other day and trying to come up with the 2025 team. And I think this team has an advantage over that team. And that team won 116 games. And Puck, you've talked about it before. This team is better built for the playoffs than that team was.
And then I think on top of that too, as well as the competition that surrounds them this year. I mean, 2001. I mean, think what you had in 2001. You're dealing with the Yankees and 9/11 and just everything that was surrounding that. The competition was different. The teams around you were different, and you don't got that this year. I don't. There will be stiff competition. Obviously, listen, Detroit's not going to be a cakewalk for them. And then once you get past them, you're going to deal with either the Blue Jays or the Yankees, who that's going to be an unbelievable test. But it's going to be a fun, wild ride. Fingers crossed Woo is okay and can appear at some point in this ALDS. I know Dan Wilson at some point today, I think, will announce who his starters will be. So we will find out a little bit later. All right,
wait a minute. What's your pick? Like, I'm going to go with the Mariners in 4. What do you got?
Oh, yeah, I'll go 4.
Lose to Scooble. Be the only loss.
I think they lose game 1 and they beat Scooble in game 2.
Okay. All right.
I think it's not going to be easy. They're going to make it stressful. Sunday is going to be so stressful in this town, but they get it done against Scooble in game 2 and then take game 3 and game 4.
All right.
But God, you're going to go into that game Sunday just with your butt cheeks are clenched going, Jesus, now we got to beat this guy.
Yeah, boy, just, the best bet in that game is to go under 6 or 6.5, whatever it's going to be for total runs in the game.
Sure. Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
It's going to be fun. It'll be great.
Enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk to you on Monday.
Okay, Puck. Go Cougs. Go Mariners.
Go Mariners, go Cougs. There he is, the go-to guy, Jim Moore. His Monday, Wednesday, and Friday appearances brought to you by A Clean Streak, Brotherton Cadillac, and Angry Beaver. We continue here on our Football Friday tailgate show, again brought to you by Georgetown Brewery and Flat Stick Pub. We'll get into football. Todd Milles, Varsity Wa News, joins me every single Friday to get you caught up on the best games of Friday night and the weekend in high school football.
Jones right up the middle, touchdown, Eastside Catholic. Rolling out is Cobb. Now he goes back. It's intercepted.
Oh, my goodness. And it,
on the way.
Foul.
Jason Wilson could go. Yes. Touchdown, Irish. Rolling to the near side.
He's keeping it. He's in.
And he's in for the touchdown. Lil.
9, 8, 7, Moser has to go. 2 seconds. He puts it back.
Todd Milles, how about this? We got yourself a brand new open to the show. It's Todd Milles from Varsity Wad News. That's why you're such a big deal, that a big deal like you needs an open. How are you, sir?
Dude, if I was dragging at sort of a mid-season low, man, I'm back to fired up. I'm back to fired up after seeing that intro, man. I'm doing well.
Todd Milles joins us every single Friday from VarsityWaNews.com. You can follow them on X at Varsity Wad News. Check out the YouTube page, Varsity Wad News, and the same Varsity Wad News on all podcast platforms. Todd Milles has been covering high school sports for a gazillion years. And he has started a brand new website called VarsityWaNews.com, exclusive coverage of all high school sports. And we're in the high school football season. He joins us every Friday on Friday Night Lights to preview the top games of the weekend and of a Friday night. And boy, and Todd, we got some good games. We've got some really good games. And before we get to the heavyweight matchup in the Wesco, let's start with if we didn't have the Wesco matchup and we didn't have the game in Eastern Washington that we're going to get to, Puyallup at 4-0 taking on a 2-2 Sumner team probably would be the game of the week. It's going to be a fantastic game when those two square off on Friday night.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about week 5. It's the blockbuster week of the regular season. There are probably, I mean, if you're a football fan and you want to pick one week to get out to a game in any classification in any corner of the state, this is the week. There's 12, 14, 15 games around the state that have serious league championship implications. But you talked about the one Saturday night, Jason, at Spark Stadium, and this is kind of a statement game for Puyallup. You know, everybody's asking the question: is Puyallup football back? Are they in the driver's seat? This is the number one offense in the SBSL. They're averaging 44 points a game. They're averaging 441.8 yards per game. They get some guys back. That's the amazing thing. They haven't been playing with a full deck. Noah Smith has sat out the first 4 games. He's a transfer quarterback from Central Kitsap. He will go right in under center to face maybe the best linebacking core in the state, maybe the best front 7 in the state in Sumner. Not an easy landing area for Noah Smith, but I've said this on my podcast. The Valley is going to be on fire, Saturday night for, brighter than I can remember, at least in a few years for this matchup. The defending state champ Spartans coming to Puyallup. Puyallup's been waiting for this game, man. And, it's going to be a packed house at Spark Stadium with two teams that can move the football. They can run the football. Lance McGee, you're going to see a heavy dosage of him for Sumner on Saturday night. But the winner, obviously, in the driver's seat for that divisional championship and a very high seed for the state playoff.
I misspoke and said it was tonight. Why is it on Saturday? I mean, a game like this, and you and I talk about this all the time. I mean, it's called Friday Night Lights. A game like this should be on Friday night like most high school games are. Was there for some reason to why it's on Saturday night?
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm sure one of the other schools is playing Friday night. I mean, they try and rotate, these stadiums that house more than, two schools. They rotate them, among Thursday, Friday, and Saturday games. They just got the Saturday slot this week. And honestly, given all the Friday night games, Jason, to have Saturday night to themselves, I know they're competing with other things, but in terms of high school football, they're kind of on a stage on their own on Saturday.
That's a good point. All right. A huge clash there in 4A Wesco. Lake Stevens, undefeated, ranked 2nd in the state, taking on number 7 Glacier Peak, also undefeated. As you wrote at VarsityWaNews.com, a little preview of the game, the Vikings have won 9 straight in this series. Will it change on Friday?
Well, they go to Glacier Peak. They go to Veterans Memorial at Snohomish. So at least Glacier Peak gets the home field advantage. That's where our friend Chris Egan's going to be. They have two streaming crews. It's obviously a big game up there, and it's going to be treated as a big game. is Glacier Peak ready for prime time? They have the defense to do it. They've got 22 sacks and 5 turnovers in 4 games. They're not giving up a whole lot, but they're not really scoring a whole lot either. They've gotten a lot in the return game. This is a guy you need to look out for tonight. His name is Michael Darling. He's a speedster receiver for Glacier Peak. He's got a couple returns for touchdowns. He's their big play guy to kind of complement Isaiah Owens, kind of their plow horse, the guy they want to control the game with. But if you give Lake Stevens offense too many series, too many possessions, it's going to come back and bite you. They've just got too much firepower with Javian Farrell, Blake Moser, that really good receiving core. If Glacier Peak can keep this game in the 20s, I give them a chance. If Lake Stevens gets on a roll, scores a couple quick touchdowns, it's going to be really hard for the Grizz to keep pace. I do like Lake Stevens in this game, but this is going to be their most difficult game, from now until the end of the regular season. I expect Lake Stevens to come out sharp, but I also expect Glacier Peak to come out pretty fired up for the home crowd.
Hey, real quickly, what's up in the water in Lake Stevens? To me, from afar, it just feels like that community, it's like the best culture of football. I mean, from the youth level all the way up to high school.
Well, they get a lot of kids, first of all. But Tom Try, I've had a number of coaches, Jason, tell me that Tom Try might be the best offensive football coach in the state of Washington. He knows how to manipulate space. He knows how to manipulate a defense's what a defense is seeing. And I think kids are attracted to that. When was the last time they didn't have a good quarterback? When was the last time they didn't have 2 or 3 really good receivers? The Farrell kid, it continues a pretty long lineage of really good tailbacks. I mean, when you can move the ball and score 40 points a game and have 70 game, league winning streaks and, back-to-back state championships, you're going to be a pretty attractive commodity. And they've started to attract some players from different schools who have come in and helped aid the cause. But Tom tried, and he has it rolling up there. They're definitely a state contender again this year.
A sneaky good game over there on the plateau, East Lake in Skyline. We saw, myself and Egan saw Skyline a few weeks ago, but they got a young sophomore quarterback who's really, really talented. It should be a very good game coming up this weekend.
Yeah, we talked about this game last week with Bothell, and I said, this is a good time for Skyline to catch Bothell, and indeed their defense sort of bent but did not break in the second half. 2 fourth down stops inside the 30. Beat Bothell at Pop Keeney Stadium, and I kind of feel the same way. I got a chance to talk to Peyton Pallor on Saturday after the win, and year one was a learning experience. I'm not sure he really understood, what he was in for at his alma mater and how to build a program. It was a learning experience. I thought he had a really good plan last offseason to get these guys kind of focused and conditioned. He says, hey, we're not the biggest team, but we're going to be the best conditioned team. We're going to outwork teams. I think that team has sort of taken on his personality, and they're number 1 in the Kinko in run defense. So they've sort of taken on that trademark. You know how good Peyton Pallor played linebacker both in high school and in college. So I like them to continue this. It's a home game. If they win, they are certainly in the driver's seat for the number 1 seed in the 4A Kinko. East Lake's a little behind in their development under first-year coach Greg Hurd. They have the more talented roster, but I think they've got a little more ground to make up in terms of building a program and being cohesive than what Skyline has. The winner tonight, I think, is going to be in the driver's seat. But if Skyline wins and has wins over East Lake and Bothell, you can almost book it that they're going to be the number 1 seed in 4A Kinko.
You are making the trip to Eastern Washington to watch what should just be a fantastic game at the 1A level. And if people don't know, the history of what Royal High School has put together, they are one of the Mount Rushmore high school football teams in this state. And Royal's undefeated, and they're taking on an undefeated team out of Cashmere, also there at 4-0. What do you expect to see in this game this weekend?
Man, small school football at its best, man. Number 1 Royal, 39-game winning streak, 5-time defending champs against their top league rival and probably their top state rival as well in the 1A ranks. It's going to be the matchup of 2 really good quarterbacks in small school football. Rylan Hatmaker at Cashmere, he's a 3-year starter, been playing for 4 years. against a new guy, a new starter at Royal. His name's Grant Wardenar. He's their best basketball player, had backed up a kid that was the 1A state player of the year the last couple of years, and Lance already. They have not missed a beat. You're going to see two of the better receivers in small school football in Royal, Shea Stevenson and Cashmere's Logan Spees. Cashmere played these guys twice last year, Jason, and we're in the game for about a quarter and a half, and then the Royal Avalanche kind of took place. I think half the battle with Royal is seeing them and experiencing it, and Cashmere has. I expect Cashmere to be fully ready to go up to Royal tonight and play these guys tough. I'm not saying they're going to win. I think I'm not going to bet against Royal in big games ever, with Wiley Allred and Jeremy Scroggins as the defensive coordinator. But I think this is somebody's best chance to go beat Royal in their classification. And I'm really, really looking forward to a game that's going to draw a pretty big crowd for a 1A football game.
All right, before you go, I need an update on my guy over there in Moses Lake. Where's Brady J at as he continues to take assault and march on to some passing records in the state of Washington, trying to catch Kellen Moore?
When you pass for only high 300s or low 400s and you lose a little pace last week, he's still on pace. He's 500 yards more than the second number 2 guy in Washington right now. It's over 1,700 yards, 27 touchdowns. We're going to get a chance to see him. We're going to stop in Moses Lake before we head to Royal City and get him on video and photograph him before their game against Eisenhower tonight. They get to play their 4A CBBN schedule, not the most difficult until they play Eastmont. So I expect some big numbers from our guy Brady J running in the air raid before. And hey, Ryan Divish, alert Ryan Divish. He's a Montana commit. So one of these days he'll be throwing the football a lot for those Grizz. So if this team makes a deep run like we've mentioned in the past, Jason, I expect him to fully make a good run at Kellen Moore's single season passing mark.
Well, and get all the news tonight, varsitywanews.com. Also check out, they'll have the midnight podcast where they wrap up the entire night there of high school football. Varsity Wa News, again, on all podcast platforms. Also check it out on YouTube. Safe travels across the mountains. We'll catch up next week and have a blast catching these games tonight. Thank you, Todd.
Thanks, Jace. Talk to you next week.
There he is, Todd Milles, varsitywanews.com. Go check it out. Friday Night Lights.
Drink Georgetown Tavern Beer, your new locally brewed domestic style lager. 4.2% alcohol. Cheap, good, local.
Time for the last word with Bob Condotta of the Seattle Times. Of course, you can follow Bob on social media, B. Condotta, all brought to you by Georgetown Brewery, makers of Manny's Pale Ale, Bodie's Offa, Rogers Pilsner, and their new Tavern Beer Tasting Room and Beer Garden, open daily from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Visit them at georgetownbeer.com. Bob joins us every Friday, get the very latest on the Seahawks. And, God, we start here with the injuries every week. They just can't seem to get a healthy group in their secondary. Bob, what's the latest for their game Sunday against the Bucks?
Yeah, I mean, both Devin Witherspoon and Julian Love, who we saw play the entire game against Arizona, and, we kind of know what they're dealing with because they had each missed the previous week, but are back on the injury report, didn't practice the last 2 days. There was a report last night from CBS Sports that Devin Witherspoon is unlikely to be able to play. Harder to tell on Julian Love's situation. Again, we'll find out about 1:30 today when they have to do the game status reports and it's after practice and all that. But it is sounding kind of unlikely, I guess, that Devin Witherspoon's going to play. And so that's with the knee contusion, the MCL contusion that he suffered late in the 49ers game. He missed the next 2 weeks, then played last week. McDonald did say after the game, I think he said last Friday to us that, he had to kind of fight through it a little bit and make it through that game. So it definitely had Witherspoon obviously gave up a touchdown pass in that game. I think McDonald was implying a little bit like, he was fighting through some stuff there. But I think the hope was with the mini bye, the weekend off, they didn't really practice again until Wednesday, that everybody was going to be good to go. And that hasn't happened with them. So we'll find out there. And that definitely, the good news is they've been down this road. So they've played guys like Darian Kendrick and DeAnthony Bell. And, so those guys and both those guys have played a lot in the NFL anyway. So, Darian Kendrick has like 18 starts with the Rams, and DeAnthony Bell started about 7 games with the Browns. So, those guys had, so there's not like throwing untested rookies in there, but, and then they're probably going to get Nick Emmanwori back. And so that's the good news is you'll throw him back in the mix. But yeah, I'm going to have to start tabulating how many different secondary starting alignments they've had this year. Cause it's kind of like it's starting to feel like the offensive line has felt so many years where every week it's kind of a different piece that's missing or a different piece that's in there.
You mentioned Witherspoon. What's the likelihood of seeing Love on Sunday?
Yeah, I wish I had a really good answer for you on that. We don't get McDonald to talk about it on Thursday, so he's being incredibly vague on injuries right now. So he's really kind of playing that close to the vest now that we're in the season. But we did not see Love at all when during the time we could watch practice the last 2 days. We didn't see him out there at all, and so that's a little bit that some of the guys aren't out there during the time we can be out there, because basically what we get to see are the guys who are going to do special teams. So guys who are not on regular special teams, during the 20 minutes we get to watch, they're oftentimes not out there because they're doing other stuff before they have to get on the field. So we didn't see Julian Love out there at all. And typically we do see him kind of out there. But again, if there's a guy who I think could not practice all week and then play on Sunday, it's him. They really trust him with everything. And so, if he's able to get out there at all, if they feel like he's good enough, that could be a proverbial game time decision with him. I would imagine that might be what they're going to say today, is that he's kind of a game time decision. And then just as, DeMarcus Lawrence hasn't been out there, and he suffered an injury that kept him out of the last three quarters of the Arizona game. And so that's a little more concerning just from that standpoint as well. If he missed the game, then he hasn't practiced at all. That probably points to you may not be seeing him. The good news there is Uchenna Nwosu played a lot more last week, and so he's sort of back to play a regular amount of snaps now. And I know they don't do the exact same thing necessarily. Lawrence is maybe sometimes plays a little bit more in some of the base stuff they do. He's a really good run defender, but in general, having that 4-man rotation there, and Mike Morris, has stepped up and really played a lot. He had to play a lot last week with DeMarcus Lawrence being out. We kind of know what they'll do there in case of that. But yeah, the secondary, it's been intriguing. Maybe we're gonna get to it, but with the whole Reek Woolen thing, and is he going to get benched or whatever? If Devin Witherspoon's not playing, then Reek Woolen's playing. I mean, you're not going to get much. I don't think you're going to Nehemiah Pritchett or to Shaquille Griffin, which are kind of your other two guys, instead of Reek. I think you'll probably keep Reek out there. So he kind of keeps being I put it in my story today, but Reek Woolen's played the most snaps of anybody in the secondary this year. So kind of being the guy that's been just because he had the one thing he has done is stay healthy and been available.
We will get to him in just a quick second. So the secondary most likely looks what? Job, Woolen, Emmanwori, Bryant,
Darian Kendrick playing nickel,
Kendrick,
Kobe Bryant, and then if you didn't have Julian Love, you'd have. So that would be interesting to me. You'd have some mix of Nick Emmanwori and DeAnthony Bell, and whether they would start Nick Emmanwori or whether they would start DeAnthony Bell and then go with Emmanwori with that 3 safety package with him. That's something they could do as well. So we would be a mix of those two guys. I would think is what they would probably do there.
Let me ask you something. Just in speaking of Woolen here, let's say they get all these guys back healthy, just from a schematic standpoint, and they're all good. So you've got Job healthy, and there's Witherspoon.
Let me throw in one guy there, and I totally forgot. Ty Okada as well. Ty Okada played a lot against Steelers when they didn't have Julian Love, so he's the other guy they'd throw out there. So they would use him as well, and he might be the guy who would start, and then they'd kind of do the mix of Emmanwori and DeAnthony Bell.
Could you have a scenario if they all were healthy, Bob? Just again projecting ahead, where Job and Witherspoon be the outside, Love and Emmanwori are the safeties. Could they move Bryant and play the nickel?
Well, we thought that before the or it was the Saints game, right? Was it the Saints game that Julian Love missed? And they really didn't do that. They seem to keep Kobe back there. I think they do like having guys who can, who play safety. I mean, they're playing a pretty conservative defense right now. They're doing a lot of zone and a lot of just too high split safety stuff and kind of shell coverage. And I think they like having guys back there that they really trust, which is one reason they like Ty Okada. And I should have mentioned that, but Ty Okada, played pretty well when he had to start, and that's one of the things they like about him is his ability to just be in the right place at the right time and make sure nothing's going to get past him. And so I think they like that about Kobe Bryant as well. I think they really like Darian Kendrick as a nickel. I think that was when they claimed him off waivers from the Rams. He had played a lot of nickel in the preseason, and Mike McDonald specifically mentioned that at one point that that was one of the things they had was what he had done in the preseason this year with the Rams was something they had liked. And then obviously he played the nickel against the Steelers and the Saints when they needed him to. So I don't know. I think they would probably stick with that. I think they would probably keep long way of saying, in some ways, I think they'd also try to have as few moving parts as possible. So you kind of keep the guys who are healthy in the spots where they've been, and you kind of fill in at the spots where you need to with the guys who are out.
All right, let's get to it. You wrote about it. You can read Bob's thoughts on Tariq Woolen. He's going back by Tariq now. Did I see that correctly on social media? Has he changed it from Reek now to Tariq?
I mean, it's still, you know what? I haven't asked him that, so I said we should.
I don't think you need to ask him it, Bob.
Well, we did last time because he suddenly changed, and then we asked him, and he explained why. But I've still been calling him Reek, but okay. I guess I need to check on that. But,
well, I'll follow up with it. It's the hot pressing issue.
Yeah.
So you wrote about it. It's on the heels of the note from the insiders from the NFL Network saying, hey, listen, teams are going to call or have called. There may be some interest in moving him. So his name has been brought up in trade speculation, and all of it makes sense. And you wrote about it, and it just all aligns. If he's not going to be the starter, and then ultimately if he's not the nickel guy, he's, you've got $4.5 million, that he's making this year, and he's not under contract next year, that maybe you do look at moving him. There's so many different parts here. Let's start first with this, and then we'll get to the others. One, what has led to this point that his name would even come up potentially in trade talks?
Well, I think some of it is that I think when they've done their long-term projections starting maybe last year, they realized they were not going to re-sign him after this season because you're going to have to re-sign Devin Witherspoon. You're probably not going to be paying two corners an awful lot of money.
Kobe Bryant?
What?
Kobe Bryant as well.
And they have apparently tried to re-sign. I was just speaking more solely of just the corner spot though, because I do think you're probably going to have to pay Witherspoon a pretty hefty sum to keep him, and so how much are you going to want to go that route? And then do you trust that? I think, do they trust that would be a good investment on Woolen? I think they've just grown frustrated with the lapses. He could be a really good player. Obviously, it was really interesting. Last week, there was a stat, I think from NFL Next Gen Stats about that he had like the third most number of time spent in tight coverage, which meant that, with he's generally doing his job and staying really close to the opposing receiver. But he just has, as we see every game, he just has some lapses, and it's usually when the ball's in the air. Mike McDonald and the defensive coordinator Aiden Dirty talked about that this week too. That it's kind of when the ball's in the air, it's his decision making when that happens, and he's been getting some penalties for obviously some DPIs. He got a face mask last week as well, but and then just not playing the ball well on a few occasions. He's had a couple of times, the Minnesota game last year, and everybody's best conclusion on that, the Sam Darnold touchdown pass that beat the Seahawks last year was Woolen sort of just not interpreting a changed signal at the line of scrimmage, just not getting it right and letting Justin Jefferson run by him. And not because he couldn't physically keep up with him. He just wasn't aware what the defense was, thought Julian Love was going to be back there for help, and he wasn't. And there's just some things like that I think they get to a point where this just keeps happening. And so, how can you fix that when things like that keeps happening? Because it's not a mental thing. It's not a lose 10 pounds thing or something like that. So I think they just I think they've grown. I think they've grown frustrated with some of those things, and then But then when you look at the long term, it's just like we're not going to pay him 15 or 20 million or whatever he might want a year, and kind of keep doing that, especially when we know we're going to have to pay Devin Witherspoon. And then when you talk about the secondary as a whole, you're paying Julian Love a lot of money. You did just draft Nick Emenwari. So long term, if you're looking at a few years down the road, you're probably going to want to keep him. And then Kobe Bryant for sure. And it sounds like they made an offer to Kobe Bryant and they could not come to an agreement on that. I think it sounds like Kobe Bryant basically is kind of gambling on himself and seeing what. And I think also in his case with the drafting of Emenwari as well. I think Kobe Bryant was sort of like, I'm going to let this year play out and kind of see where I am and see if it's better for me to hit the market. So they've got some moving pieces there, but I think they thought they liked Josh Jobe a lot. And then Darian Kendrick happened way after I think they kind of got to this point. But Darian Kendrick now, I think, is another sign to them that we can find some guys who, in the way Mike McDonald does things, we can plug in, and we can find some corners who can play this job pretty well. And so I think this has kind of gotten to all that. So yeah, so then if you're going to lose Woolen, if you're not going to re-sign Woolen, and he's going to hit free agency at the end of the year, if you can get something for him this year and not have to wait and play the compensatory pick game, and which is no guarantee, obviously, that you're going to get the comp pick. You also have to wait another year to get that. And then they are paying him $5.4 million this year, which is something it's easy to forget about. But Woolen, because of how well he has played, so as a 5th round pick, and there's the whole system that the NFL has for performance. It's the performance payment thing. So he got about a $3 million boost in his salary for this year because he made a Pro Bowl a couple years ago and for his overall playing time. So he's making $5.5 million this year. So, if they get to the point where he's not going to play the rest of the year, do you want to pay him that much money the rest of the year to not play and then just let him and just have him walk at the end of the year anyway? So if you could get anything for him, but especially if you could get, a 4th or a 5th round pick, which to me feels probably about the most realistic you could be able to do, but maybe you can go player for players too. Maybe there's another player on another team that's in a similar situation. I doubt you'd get much different than that. But if there's some team out there that has a guy they're not going to re-sign or they're not using anymore, and maybe he's at a position where Seattle has a need, or just it's an intriguing player to bring in, maybe they could go that route. So we'll see. But yeah, to me, there's a tiny bit of risk there because of the injuries they've been having. And then you do get pretty quickly to, you'd be relying on Darian Kendrick the rest of the year, and Shaquille Griffin probably, as kind of your 4th safety. And Shaq's had a really good career and played well last year with the Vikings. So I think they trust that he could come in and play well if needed, but that's sort of what you'd be doing there.
Last thing, Bob, you wrote about it in the paper, and you and I, we've been around here for a very long time. And I just think on Sunday, there's nothing prettier than see those Seahawks uniforms against those Buccaneer uniforms. I mean, this is the all-uniform Super Bowl. This might be the greatest game in the history of the sport, pitting 2 uniforms together.
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, I wrote they kind of it was just sort of the break in the schedule. Tampa Bay has to come here every 6 years, whether they want to or not. But this became the 6th year the part of that rotation this year on the 50th year for both teams. So kind of fun that way. And the Seahawks, they pick the obvious thing there of we're going to do our top 50 celebration, so they'll do that at halftime. Sounds like most of the guys, most everybody who can be there is going to be there. There's a few guys there's active players like Russell Wilson who can't be there, but it sounds like most of the guys who can be there are going to be there. And so that'll be fun. But for sure, hopefully, looking outside right now, the weather doesn't look too great, but hopefully we get some sun on Sunday because that's when those uniforms look the best, especially that helmet when the sun is gleaming off that helmet. And you can find on YouTube, I think it's the earliest full Seahawk game that's available, but you can find the second time these guys played in 1977 when they were wearing these uniforms at the Kingdome, and the Seahawks won that game too. I don't think you can find the whole first game anywhere, but you can find the whole second game with Johnny Unitas doing the color analyst from the Kingdome of the Seahawks in Tampa Bay.
Bob, can you steal me one of these helmets? The Buccaneers.
I know,
can you just somehow get down there? I'd pay so much. God, I'd pay a lot of money for one of those, one of the helmets.
But you're right. Tampa Bay's are great too. I mean, these are
the Buccaneers are fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, the Seahawks are my favorite of all time, but the Buccaneers helmet is just, it's beautiful. I just don't know. And I have no idea for both franchises why they just don't. That should be the permanent uniforms for both the Patriots, the what do they call it? Tommy Patriot, or whatever it is. That should be the permanent uniform for the Patriots. It's not hard.
Yeah, you got a number of teams like that. Yeah, for sure. In my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. There he is, the last word with Bob Condotta, Seattle Times. Catch all of his work up at the SeattleTimes.com. Follow him on X at B Condotta. His weekly appearance talking Seahawks, all brought to you by Georgetown Brewery, makers of Manny's Pale Ale, Rogers Pilsner, and their new Tavern Beer. The tasting room is open. Beer Garden, daily, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Visit them at GeorgetownBeer.com. Thank you, Bob. We'll talk to you next Friday.
Yep. Thank you, Jason.
In case you missed any of the Bob Condotta interview with us every single Friday, it will be available on all podcast platforms, YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts. Big thanks, as always, to Georgetown Brewery. The last word with Bob Condotta every single Friday. But we got one more. The last word actually is the Hey What the Puck, which is brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. It is your restoration company, lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services. Locally owned and operated. Make me your first call when those damages affect your commercial or residential property. Give them a call, 206-817-8917. Visit them at restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. Playoffs going to start tomorrow for the Mariners. I always, whatever sport it is, there is always the unsung heroes. We love those guys. They tend to make big plays and have some sneaky contributions. But to me, it comes down to superstars. The superstars that play well, that carry your team once you get in the postseason. They make the most money. They're the most sought after, and they're the ones that usually carry you in whatever postseason it is. And they've got two great superstars. Do the Mariners and Cal Raleigh and Julio Rodriguez. They have got to be the catalyst as the postseason starts tomorrow against Detroit. They've got to be the two best players on the field tomorrow. They've got to be the two best players throughout the series. Is it a guarantee if they're the two best they win the series? No, baseball's a crazy sport. And if they somehow aren't great, can they still win the series? Absolutely. But for them to reach their ultimate goal of reaching the World Series, they have got two of the youngest and brightest stars in the game that are playing collectively tremendously together. One has a great chance to be the MVP, and the other is putting up numbers once again that compare him with the greats in the history of the sport. But when the playoffs start, it's the superstars that can carry you. And I believe the superstars are going to carry Seattle past this first round, past the ALCS, into their first World Series appearance, hopefully. But I do believe strongly it begins with Julio Rodriguez and Cal Raleigh. I can't wait to see what they do on the sport's biggest stage starting tomorrow night. If you're going to the game this weekend, either game one, game two, if you're double dipping on Sunday, have a blast, man. Send some pictures. I want to see pictures and videos, all of it. Because it's just going to be a fantastic theater this weekend in our city. Tomorrow with, again, Mariners. Sounders are playing tomorrow. Then Sunday with both the Seahawks and Mariners. Awesome. Just an awesome, awesome time to be a sports fan. Big thanks to everybody watching and listening today. As always, big thanks to all of our sponsors. As always, we could not do it without you. Limback Lumber. Obviously, Georgetown Brewery. Check out their new Tavern Beer. To gym sponsors, by the way, for every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday visit. Big thanks to Clean Streak, Brotherton Cadillac, and Angry Beaver. And I left out one other sponsor for us on Fridays. Big thanks to Andy Largent and the great crew there at Flat Stick Pub. You want to watch a great spot to watch the Mariners tomorrow? Be around a lot of fans who aren't going to the game. Great spot at Flat Stick Pub, especially their Pioneer Square location. Please find today's Daily Puck Drop up on YouTube. When you're there, please subscribe to the channel. Also find Daily Puck Drop on your favorite podcast platforms. And, of course, everything you can find up at PuckSports.com, including signing up to become a member of the Pucks Posse. You support everything that we do here free daily. In addition to your membership, we give you bonus shows every single week, including yesterday's release of our monthly podcast with Steve Sandmeyer, Matt Stretch Johnson. The Sports Pit is out now. We do a full Mariners playoff preview, and it really is a Mariners orgasm between the three of us. That's really what it is. Go check it out at PuckSports.com. Everybody enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you again on Monday. Hopefully the Mariners pull it out and are victorious. And we're talking about a 2-0 series lead as we head into Game 3. We'll talk to you on Monday. As always, promise to be better.
No shoes, no ties.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah. I was born to love. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you, but you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for? We like to send out anyway.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!